Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anna, and today I have a massive book haul for you guys. I'm super excited to be sharing these with you, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. So the first book that I want to talk about is one that's written by one of my favorite poets, and that is John Lupin, the Poetry Bandit. This book, You Only Love Me When I'm Suffering, is his newest collection of poems, and I am super excited to read them. He is currently the author of my favorite poetry book, his first book, My Sober Little Moon, and that book really got me. And so I just know everything that he's capable of, and I know that he is an amazing writer, and so I really can't wait to dive into this one. The second book that I have is part of a series. I don't have the rest of the series, but I got this one, Him, by Pierre Alex Jeanty. I hope I said that right. The reason why I decided to buy just this one is because I feel personally that there are a lot of poetry books written for women, and that's great. Nothing's wrong with that. But I feel like on the flip side of that, there aren't as many poetry books written for men. And so I think that's also really important because it's like, yes, promote female empowerment, but also we should be boosting the men as well. And so I just wanted to have a couple poetry books in this haul that are from the point of view of men and sort of their thoughts, their feelings, the things that they've learned, and maybe their views on masculinity. So this one I'm really excited to read, and I'm definitely going to be having a book talk on this once I finish it. The third book that I have also is one for men as well. It's called Young Man Rumble, and it's by Ryan Spear. I've already read it, and I have to say it was fantastic. It's an interesting book because it's not quite poetry. It's more like journals or letters to himself or about himself. And so in that regard, it's not like strictly poetry. But that being said, it's really moving and amazing to see the life of this one man in a book. It was a really inspiring read, and if you want to recommend books for, a young boy or like a young man, then I would definitely suggest this. It's got some really good lessons in there. The fourth book that I have is definitely one that I think is more highly anticipated. It's the first book in this series is currently my most watched video, and so I decided, well, why not get The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I don't even remember everything that I said about her first book, but I do remember the excitement I felt when I found out she was coming out with a second book, and I think she's even coming out with a third book pretty soon, which I will be very excited to read as well. I love the cover of this. I love the white. Her first book was black and white, and then this one's white and red, and also the words inside the book are red, which I really appreciate. I love when authors get really creative with the formatting and design of their poetry books. So I have high hopes for this one, and I hope to have a poetry book talk about it in the near future. The next book I have, I don't really know a lot about it. I saw it in Barnes & Noble and decided it looked interesting and bought it. It's called Crown Anthology, and it's by it's edited by two authors, so Analog de Lēon and Gabriel Sage. What really sort of solidified this buy for me is that the foreword was by Tyler Knott Gregson, who is also another one of my favorite poets, and I highly respect his work. And so I thought, wow, if he forwarded it, if he has good things to say about it, then there's definitely no way I could go wrong. So I'm really excited to read this work. I don't really know what it's about or if there's a theme or anything, but yeah, if any of you have read this and you have your thoughts on it, then please put it down in the comments, and I'll be really excited to hear from you guys. The next book I have is another really highly anticipated book. It is The Dark Between Stars by Atticus, and I now own both of his books, and I have to say I'm really proud of that. I do try and, if there's a collection of works, I do try and, own all of them if I can. And so when I found out that he was making or publishing another poetry collection, I was very excited. I've already read this as well, and I look forward to doing a collective book talk about both of his works that are out currently. There's something really special about Atticus. Yes, his work is at times very cliche, and he's very much an aesthetic poet with the photography and the different formatting and color of pages and just everything. The whole book is really a work of art. A lot of times I've seen reviews about Atticus that sort of talk about the cliche aspects of his writing and how really it's only like one-liners, and yeah, that's true. Nothing about that is really false. But then another thing that I find about Atticus is that he has a very unique way of putting a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts into a very condensed phrase or sentence or thought, and it's something that I don't see a lot of poets capable of doing. And so, cliche mentality aside, that's something I really do appreciate about his works. He is able to convey a lot of emotion in very little words, and I really appreciate that. I think that is an art in and of itself, and so I don't think that one should, discredit his work because it may not look like traditional poetry. I think the whole book is a work of art. The next book I have for you guys, I'm really, really excited that I finally got my hands on a work by this author. So without saying any more, Neil Hilborn's The Future. So I know that Neil Hilborn has a lot of different works out currently, and I definitely at one point wanted to get my hands on at least one of them, and I finally did. This man, I don't know what to say. I don't think I have enough words to describe this man. I was introduced to Neil Hilborn through YouTube, and I am continuously blown away by his spoken word poems. There is something about him that is so alive and real on the stage, and his performance of his poems are just mind-blowing. And there's just something about his work that inspires such hope and honesty. I really am looking forward to reading this and getting my hands on more of his work. He's hilarious, he is heartbreaking, he is unbelievably raw and real and honest and everything that you could want in a poet, and just unabashedly so. And so I'm so looking forward to the book talk on this collection of poetry. I will definitely have so much more to say once I'm done. The next book I have is by an author that I have done a book talk about previously, For When She's Feeling Blue by Edgar Holmes. I did a book talk on his first book, Her Favorite Color Was Yellow, and so I found out that he has another one, and I was like, oh, I most definitely want to continue with his writing. I thought it was really sweet, and it was a love letter to his wife in a way, and so I really am looking forward to what he has to say about For When She's Feeling Blue, and hopefully we'll have a book talk about this when I'm done. Okay, so the next set of books that I have was not originally planned to be in this book talk, but it was more of a spontaneous, uncontrollable urge to buy poetry books, and I listened. I know I have problems. This is just one of them, and I have to say it's one of the problems I'm more proud of, but definitely one that is going to cost my bank account. Nevertheless, I went and found at least most of the works by Ling Li. The Anthology of Love, the 4 books, the Your Words Are Power, The Universe of Us, Lullabies, and Misadventure. And then I also bought Sea of Strangers by Ling Li as well. So now I have, I think, most of her works, and I actually bought a Ling Li book for a friend of mine for Christmas, and she has not stopped gushing about how good it is, and so that obviously inspired me to want her works more, and I cannot wait to read all of these works. It's going to take me a little while, but I definitely am going to finish them. hopefully before June. I would love to say I could finish them before the mid-year is here, but nevertheless, I am so ready to dive into Ling Li's works. I have seen her work on the internet, on Instagram, on Pinterest, and I mean, just amazing, amazing artistry. And so definitely something that I am excited to read and share with you guys. So that is all that I have for you guys today. If you have read any of the books that I have shown in this video, then please don't hesitate to comment below and tell me about your experience reading them, and also recommend other books that I may not know by these authors. I'm always, of course, as you know, looking for more opportunities to read poetry and learn and just sort of bask in all of this genius writing. So yeah, until next time guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye!